I see it. I see it. It's right there. Hey, Vita, can we start? Do we need to do any introductions? Do we need to do any forward-looking claims or anything like that on this one?
I think no forward-looking statements. I think Payman just promised that as long as we listen to him, we will all step up our social media game. And I think that's a great promise we can all keep.
Awesome. Let's do it. So we have been waiting for this day. The anticipation has been amazing, and people are so excited, Vita, about this series that you've created, that you guys have created for us to learn from and to learn from the best. And so we are so excited to be able to host this today. You guys are still time. If you want to have ask people to join, make sure that they join in the next one. And we will be recapping this one at a later date. But sit back, relax, all 150 of you on this call today, and learn from one of the best. So, Vita, I'm going to transfer it back over to you so you can do the introductions. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much, Patty. I am so excited. We've been working on this for quite a couple of weeks now, so it's amazing to see it come together and learn from Payman because what he has to teach us, guys, is amazing. I thought I knew my social media game, but every time I talk to him, I learned something new. And don't worry, guys, we're going to teach you guys everything as well. But as Patty said, relax today. Take your pen and paper out, take lots of notes, and don't worry if we go fast. There will be recordings available that we're going to email you so you can rewatch and rewatch and rewatch. But we want you to take it all in today and just really learn about our amazing speaker. And I'm going to just give him no introduction could introduce how amazing he is, but I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about him. He's not only a successful influencer, but he's also the client solution manager at TikTok, which is really cool for us because not only do we get the influencer perspective, but we get the behind the scenes knowledge of how TikTok works. So we're getting the double-sided benefits of this. He's also an inspirational speaker, social media creator, and mental health ambassador. Every single post that he does, guys, speaks to you. Every single one of them, I'm like, oh my gosh, are there cameras in my homes? Does he know what I'm doing? Because they speak to me so well. He's amazing. His goal is to empower and inspire as many people as he can, because people will never forget how you make them feel. I'll be the first one to tell you, Payman, you make us feel absolutely amazing. So thank you for everything that you do. He believes his ambitions made him successful on social media, in particular in TikTok and on Instagram, where he has more than 600K followers combined that follow him on his daily journey. And here's a little fun fact to share with you guys. Payman actually has a twin brother, and they used to switch spots in school and take exams for each other. One of these days, I am going to ask you, which subjects did you take and what did he take, right? Did he have the fair load or did you do all the big exams?
I did everything. I did all the work.
I bet you it'll be a different story if we ask him, right? But without further ado, everyone, here's our amazing speaker, Payman. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Vida. Thank you so much, Patty, for this incredible introduction. I am super happy to be here and to do this workshop together with you guys. I spoke to Vida now a couple of times in the past. We have thought about how can we actually put this together in the best motivational, inspirational way so that everybody can take something home and actually learn something without it being a hassle or something complicated that you actually need to adapt to, right? So therefore, as said before, relax, take a seat, just listen to what we have to say, and hopefully after this call you will be you have learned something new that inspired you to actually do something on social media. So let me quickly share my screen with you guys. Give me 1 second. Perfect. So as you can see, let me start the slideshow. Today, it's about you guys. It's about Manitech. It's about social media in general. I want to open this door to this world because there are so many opportunities and possibilities that you can actually do, but sometimes you are missing the tools, right? And this session in particular should be about you getting inspired of all the possibilities that there are. Maybe also get a little inspired by my story, because I am not of those typical influencers or creators that is doing that for years and years. Instagram, for instance, I started only 5 months ago. So therefore, you should get inspired by things that you can do now and things that you can change right away, right? So in order to give you some insights, let's start with, oh, I'm sorry, let me pause this because Vida's playing it in a little bit. Let me start with me as a coach. I'm Payman. On my coaching side, I also work as in the sales department at TikTok. So I have over 10 years social media experience. In general, I always worked in the tech industry. This is kind of what I studied and also what I then practiced to do. And in my role as a social media expert and manager, I also started to find the love to start doing motivational speaking sessions. I have a long history of mental health ambassadors. This is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. So I try to pair it with also my professional side to make this an even field and something that I actually enjoy on the daily level, right? And as Vida said, my favorite quote in the world is people never forget how you make them feel. So my ambition in the world is every time I speak to someone or I actually get to know someone new, I want to make them feel better after the conversation. I think the world is sometimes such a cruel place and kindness is for free. So there's nothing wrong with being a little kinder or just show your heart to people. And that's kind of my goal in life. But before I go on with my social media experience as a creator, Vida, maybe you can share your screen quickly and show a video of my personal story. And the reason why I chose that video is that I think it's the best description of how you can turn around the page and make something maybe negative or maybe a little sad in your life to turn it to something great and beautiful, right? There's always another side to the story, and I think this is a good description of how I turned the switch in particular.
I'll play
So
the
let
video
me,
as soon as you stop sharing the screen, Lev.
yes.
Don't say no, I'm no good for you. I've learned to lose, you can't afford to. Torn my shirt to stop you bleeding, but nothing ever stops you leaving. Cry when I'm coming home, I'm on my own. I can lie, say I like it like that, like it like that. I can lie, say I like it like that, like it like that.
Thank you so much. So this was a little story of mine. I think it reflects a very honest view of how my life is going or how my life went. And I think it is also an honest picture of how we all have struggles in life that we have to overcome, right? And yeah, this is just another perspective of everything is going in your way if you try to make it that way, right? So that was my little story as a social media manager. But here is my also summary of me as a creator. My creator name is Pepe. So your task is to follow me after this on TikTok, on Instagram. Nevertheless, I have, as Vida said, over 600,000 followers overall. But the interesting thing is I started TikTok when I actually applied for the job, the corporate job, about 2 years ago. And in these last 2 years, I gained traction and gained actually 350,000 followers. So even for like TikTok standards, that's not a long time. But surprisingly, I started Instagram on my birthday 5 months ago because I decided let's just maybe make this a little bigger and start stuff on Instagram as well. And in those 5 months, I gained more than it's actually 260,000 followers. So from the moment I did the presentation, which was a week ago, until now, I gained another 10,000 followers. and in a very short amount of time. That just shows you the power of social media. And if you're trying to tell your story and if you're going your way, sometimes it will actually pay out. And this is what I did on all my social media channels. And what is linked to that, the general theme and topic is inspiring people and motivating people. So therefore, I also combine my entire social media life to also connect it with being a motivational speaker at events, either at TikTok or other events. So this is my passion in life. And now the funny story, why things actually got very wild and big. At one time, I started, I think I would say a trend. I started to like do my little dance. It had no meaning. I was doing a funny dance with a handkerchief and had a inspirational quote over my head, and I posted it on TikTok, and I think overnight it got over 16 million views in probably 2 days. And that was a lot for me. And I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. I think people really resonate with the little dance and with my handkerchief and the inspirational quote. So I started doing those dances all over the world. I travel all the time. And I thought maybe I can kind of try to do that all over the world. And this is a little summary of every dance that I did all over the world. And if you watch, you will also see Canada. I went to a lot of places in Canada, but also all over the world. So Vida, if you want to share my little video here.
Absolutely.
I only pray you'll never leave me behind.
Never leave me.
Because good music can be so hard to find.
So hard to find.
I'll take your hand and hold it closer to mine.
Yeah.
Our love was there when the fire changed your
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So now enough about my story. I think you got a understanding of what I do and how I do things. So let's talk about the agenda for today. What is the reason why we're gathering together and what is the message for today? So the agenda in general, I actually want to talk about what social media is for you. What is new social media? What is the difference between what you know and what exists currently? I think there's a difference that you have to make. And I think today is important to understand that and be inspired by the new opportunities. And then, of course, the most important thing, how can you sell and recruit via social media? All the opportunities that you have are for free. You can use them. You can get viral on social media platforms with very little things that you actually need to do, right? And I want you to get an understanding on what your opportunities and chances are in general and how you can use them. Then how can Manatech help? There are so many things that are already working super well. So instead of reinventing the wheel, take things that already exist in your social media strategy on the things that you want to do on social media, so you don't have to always think about something completely new, because things already exist and you can take them and make sure that those help you in order to be successful on social media. Then, of course, we have specific events and things that you can use in order to be successful. One is the Luminovation Spa Day. That's a specific, very special event that you can actually use in order to gain traction and become more successful and share all over the platforms. Then there is the Global Market Incentive Program. I will get into the details later on, but I think another great reason why we do this, why this is something that you should be personally invested and interested in. And then, of course, at the end, I have a final task for you, because yes, this is about inspiration and motivation, but of course, you also have to think about what is the practical way to do a video and how can I take what I learned from today and actually try to apply it in social media, right? And towards the end, we have a quick Q&A where you can actually also ask your questions and we can talk about the things or questions that you have. So let's start about the term new social media. As you know, you already had a training in the past where you went through Facebook and the opportunities that Facebook gives you. But the new social media is something that gives you so many new opportunities to become successful on those new platforms, and it only takes you 5 minutes. So this whole story that people are trying to tell you about, it is complicated and you have to know the different ways of it, and you have to kind of invest a lot of time. Let me tell you, as a person that actually works at one of those social media platforms and is very invested as a creator myself, I post videos daily, right? You don't have to have a lot of skills in order to be successful on those new social media platforms, because that's the beauty of it. You actually only in a lot of cases need to invest 5 minutes where you actually just share your thoughts of the things that you want to share and share with the community, and then things are happening by itself. And that's why I think today the most important message is that you don't have to spend a lot of time on those social media channels in order to become successful on them, right? And I hope that message gets very clear towards the end. So why are we doing this? Because you already had a Facebook training, and I think some of you guys are already doing Facebook. It's time to reach a new demographic because Facebook loses their audience. It is proven that a lot of the people are moving to other social media channels. I mean, that's how the world works. It's not something surprisingly that we can see. That's how other things have worked in the past as well. And I just want to make sure that you don't lose your audience because you're stuck with one channel that you know that you think works. There are so many opportunities beyond that, and that's something that you should discover and identify for your audience and for yourself. Therefore, the most important platforms right now currently that are trending and where all the people are at right now are TikTok and Instagram. Those are the platforms where you actually can gain traction, where you can get viral, where people can see videos, millions of views and engagement rates, and people are invested in that for free. You can do a video that can take you 5 minutes, as my video that took me 5 minutes to do, even less than 5 minutes. And it was seen by now more than 20 million people, one video. And there was no paid budget behind it. There was no big scenario or actually money that I invested to do the video, to edit the video. It took me 5 minutes and $0. And that is something that I just want to make sure that everybody understands. And this is the beauty of those new platforms, TikTok and Instagram. So how do they work? Social media platforms are made for fresh success. So you have on the one side a specific For You page. What it is it actually gives you a specific range of videos, a combination of videos that you see randomly, and there's an algorithm behind that. The algorithm understands the way you actually watch videos better and better with time. So it at some point suggests you only the videos that you are interested at because the algorithm knows you already very well, which is a very new and good idea in general, because it's not based on your social demographic circle. It's based on your interest, which makes it so different than Facebook. And that's the chance that you see and that we see for you to become successful, because you don't have to have millions of followers in order to have success on those platforms. You just have to have a good video. You just have to have some good content, some passionate story to tell, or some great product to advertise. That's your tools. And you all have that working with Manytic, right? Then you have the discovery page, which is great because you can actually look for inspiration and search for things that you might not see elsewhere, where you actually want to learn things. So you can just type something in the search bar. You see trending sounds, trending videos. So you can get a lot of inspiration by just looking at that. And then, of course, you have your profile, where you can see your videos, or on Instagram, your pictures, which then gives you a hint, gives everyone else a hint on what your story is and what are you actually trying to tell everybody, right? So this we will deep dive into those topics on later sessions, but just for you to get a general understanding on how these new social media platforms work. What to expect, what is it that is so important that you should know about TikTok and Instagram, and why should you use the opportunity here? In general, those new social media platforms, they are a community united by 4 core mindsets. That's something new that we discovered that was not really existent on Facebook in general. So on the one hand, you are discovering new things because, as I described earlier on, Facebook is based on your social circle and your demographics. So you cannot really discover a lot of new things because it is based on what you already are narrowed to. On the other hand, TikTok and Instagram, it's based on your interest and on your behavior, how you actually watch things and how you interact with videos. Therefore, you can discover a lot of things because the algorithm will always try to give you new content that you can watch. That's an opportunity that a lot of brands are already using, a lot of users are already using, because they know their content, their videos will be displayed to sometimes millions of people because it's about discovery, right? Then to be uplifted, those 2 social media platforms are known to be platforms where it's actually about uplifting people. There's a big community behind others. So people are engaging way more than on other social media platforms. People feel a sense of community, and that's something that you can use because there are so many niches that you can be a part of when you kind of identify and understand where you belong to. Participation, again, the engagement level is so much higher than on any other platforms. People like to actually engage with the content that they see, which gives them this community feeling, right? And that's something that you can use and make your own in order to either sell products, make people aware of other products, or just try to share your information in general. And then one last thing, don't forget, people want to be entertained on those platforms because it's not narrowed down on what their friends are doing and how the holiday went on someone that you went to high school with. No, this is based on discovery. So people are discovering new content, new videos. So sometimes they just want to be entertained. Never forget that fact. So try to implement this entertainment fact in your videos because it will just raise the chances of you being becoming more viral than in any other way. So what does it mean that we have so many different facets and pillars? The beauty of those new social media platforms is there's a very diverse community that comes together. So I like to tell the story. It's like going to a party, like using Instagram or TikTok. Imagine you go to a party, you're invited somewhere, and then somebody opens the door and there are a bunch of people who are having food at a dinner table. So that's one community. Then you go upstairs. There's actually people talking about politics and having heated discussions about, I don't know, what is right, what is wrong on political agendas. Then you go to the rooftop and there are people actually painting pictures of the stars and talking about music and artists. Then you go to the basement and people are actually doing little dances and they're listening to specific new music and try to kind of cover and discover new identities. So every room has something new to discover. That's the new social media age and that we live in. So there is not one specific category that we say, yeah, you have to like this in order to be on TikTok or to be on Instagram. That's not true. There's so many communities, so many niches, and you will find your niche. So don't worry. The more you use it, the more the algorithm knows you, and the more your content and your videos will be played out to your community, right? And that's the beauty of it. You don't even have to do anything. The algorithm or the social media channels, they already know where you belong, and they will get you to your people, what I call your people. So therefore, don't be afraid that this might be nothing for you, or maybe you don't find your people or you don't find your community. I promise you, you will. So overall, summarizing that means it opens your or our community up to discovering the new, and the new includes you. So you and your videos are the new content that people might want to see. Therefore, you have to think about yourself as a content creator, just act as one. So it's very, very important that you don't try to fall in this trap of maybe I shouldn't, or maybe people don't want to see stuff, or maybe I shouldn't share too much of. No, this is exactly the chance to do even more, because people are interested in new things. They want to discover new things. There are so many niches and specific things that are existing already on the platform. And to be part of it is share as much as you can in your way. There's no right and wrong. You can tell a story, you can show a product, you can describe how you feel about stuff. It's up to you how you want to do it. But just share as much as you can and post as much as videos as you can, because that's actually the successful way of getting your message across. And how can we connect that potential that we have on those social media platforms with actually selling and recruiting via social media? So how can we connect those two pillars? Very easy. You can use TikTok and Instagram as a preferred and trusted home for your personalized discovery. So use those platforms as a platform, or as a channel where you discuss things that you already have, whether it's your product, it's a brand, it's something that you can, where you have an opinion about. So therefore, use what you have is super important. As I said earlier, sometimes you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Something is already there that you can use. And one of those things are the videos that Manytech is already providing you with. So share the videos Manytech is providing you on TikTok and on Instagram, personalize them, talk about the content. So sometimes it's easier if you don't have to come up with a different or completely new concept, because the wall sometimes may be a little too high and you think, oh, well, that's a lot of work and I don't really know where to start. Great, no problem. Take what is already there and make it your own. So you have a lot of videos and content from Manytech. Either post that or talk about it, view it in a different perspective, make it your personal content. And that's so important on those social media platforms. People are interested in your opinion. It's not only about sharing information, it's about sharing your personal information, your personal opinion about things, right? And because you already have so much information and a good product and a nice brand to work with, that's gold, because a lot of other creators don't have that, right? So you're already in a good position to become successful here. And the next step is talk about things that are happening, interesting products, interesting days, interesting things that people might be interested in. One of those things is the Luminivation Spa Day on November 16th. So that is something people should know about, correct? It's something that was not really done like that in particular. So it's a new thing. People should know about that. And there's a link between why you are talking about this, right? So in general, you can post anything. You can post specific information about the day, and you can go through the facts, or you can make it an entire personal story. Why this is something so great, people should share. Why this is so important to you. What is your experience in general? Because again, people are interested in your perspective of things. And therefore, if you have things like the Luminivation Spa Day, that's a perfect beginning to share your story, because you can take the facts of this and make it your own by telling your story with this. And therefore, this is a great start for you guys to share the news, make sure people are actually know about that, attend to the Spa Day, make it a successful event. And you are the people that can actually do that. And maybe one or two people are getting like super viral, who knows? That's the beauty of the new social media. There is no wrong and right. So you can post a video and the next day it can have 10 million views or even 1 million views, which is a lot, right? And there is nothing that holds you back except yourself. Therefore, just try to spread out the message, be creative, be personal, and share your story. And then why is it so important to share your story? Because times have changed. 10 years ago, it was a little different. Therefore, social media back then, like platforms like Facebook or other platforms, they were not really real. Realness now is the new currency, the new cultural currency. So people actually know they can. I think everybody nowadays, we all have a little sensor if people are being real or if they're putting a facade, right? And therefore, it is super important for you to be authentic, be yourself. Don't try to act as this person that is perfect and therefore you have to have this brand or product. No, be yourself, because that's the best you can be. That's very, very important on those new social media platforms in order to be successful. Be authentic. And yeah, there's no better place to be real than social media, specifically TikTok and Instagram. So think about that and don't forget about this. So welcome to the Global Market Incentive. Why are we doing all of that? What is the purpose of it? And what can you actually gain from that, right? So in order to get even a little more inspired, there is the Global Market Incentive Program, which leads to a lot of great things. So in particular, just a disclaimer, the rules and qualifications that you see here are specific to the NA market incentives. So therefore, this is the 2023 North American Incentive Program for Canada and the United States Associates. So it is specific to wherever you are and whatever market you are, but just to get an understanding on how things work, specifically in North America. One pillar is to recruit people. You have the platforms to do that. Now, the purpose is to recruit at least a minimum of 11 new people and 5 associates minimum, so that you can actually try to be part of this incentive program, right? So that's one pillar to think about and to have in the back of your mind. On the other hand, the point volume, to have at least 18,000 points. So there are different, of course, levels. So the higher the leadership level is, the more needs to be done. But in general, I think that's a good basis to understand what requirements are there to be part of that incentive program. And of course, there are also additional ways that you can then read through in the information that you get afterwards. But there are leadership rank up points and new associates and top point earners. But overall, this is kind of, I think, great possibility to have this goal, being part of this incentive program by being successful on social media. Because I can promise you, if you have good content on TikTok and on Instagram, and your content is connected to the brand or to specific products or to recruitment purposes, I can guarantee you will fulfill these elements with no problem. Because you have all these great channels and you have all these possibilities to reach millions of people. And that's the beauty of it. There's no limit for you here. And yeah, that's, I think, a great goal to work towards too. But yeah, again, if you have further questions in particular about this, I think afterwards you will get more information about the incentive program overall. But let's before we actually get to the Q&A, let's get to the final task, because of course, this was a session to get inspired and to understand why it is so important to be active on TikTok and on Instagram, for instance, and to understand what the first steps towards that are. But I personally have a task where I also give you some creative guidance, because this is something that you can use what you learned today in order to make your own or your first video on TikTok or on Instagram. And afterwards, we will definitely look at the videos and decide who actually did the best job. Either we will do that, or maybe we will just let the audience on TikTok and Instagram decide, because the good thing is we will see how many people actually viewed things and how many people liked things and how many people engaged with the video. Because at the end of the day, that's also criteria that goes into it. But don't worry, that's in the beginning. There's something that we don't expect videos to go viral right away, right? There is something you will start the process at some point and get better and better with it. But to get an idea on what the task is to create a video based on these 6 seasonal demand spaces and post it on social media. So as I spoke about how important it is to be authentic on social media and tell your own story and personalize it, you can take those elements to try to help yourself in order to get to one specific direction. On the one hand, we have the emotional side, and on the other hand, we have the functional side. It's up to you. You can also, of course, mix things together. Again, this is just a recommendation. You can do something completely different if you want to, but I would love to see either on the emotional side for you guys to make a video where you actually talk about a recommendation, something that you experienced and that you liked so much that you have a recommendation where you talk about your own perspective on that. That is something that people would like to see. People are interested in personal experiences, right? So that could be a great way to do it. I know that Vida already posted something like that on TikTok. I saw it and I even liked it. So go on her page if you want to see it. But she did a great job in recommending actually a product and telling her own story about why this is such a good product. On the other hand, inspiration. Talk about something that inspired you, either product related, brand related, or your own personal story. Inspire people with your story, right? So if you have something inspirational that you want to share with people while connecting it to a product or to a brand, do so. That's something that the community very much appreciates. And then indulgence. You can talk about something that is so great that you actually want to share it on social media. Talk about the specific aspects of why this is great in every facet. There is, again, no right and wrong. You can go ahead and make it your own. And on the functional part, if you are more a functional person that likes to talk about facts and specific reasons why things are so good or so bad, or make it your own. Improvements. What about this product actually helped you with specific aspects? Let's talk about cosmetics, why your skin got so much better by using those products. What is the difference between these products and other products? What did actually improve? What specifically did improve in your life by using these products? People are interested and invested in these stories because they know if somebody actually went through that, we can learn from that. Then also convenience and validation, those two last functional aspects. So there are, as you see, there are so many aspects that you can use. There are so many niches that you can use, but the task is to kind of pinpoint it to one of those. Make sure you do your first video. Don't be shy about it. Talk about your experience. Talk about the functionality, be emotional, but be authentic. That's the first task that we have today. And I hope during the next couple of sessions, we will deep dive into a little more aspects of Instagram and on TikTok and how to actually do things on the platforms. So don't worry, we will go through all of that at a later point. But I hope this session already helped to get an understanding why these platforms are important and to start your first journey on those platforms.
Thank you so much. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that was it. I just wanted to say thank you. And I think we have a Q&A at the end, correct?
Exactly. Thank you so much, Payman. That was absolutely amazing. And you're right. I mean, I can't give everybody homework and say, guys, go on TikTok and Instagram and play around with it without doing it myself as well. So you said it. I posted a TikTok this morning and I got really raw, no makeup, no hair, decided to show you guys, and I spritzed myself. And within a couple hours, I had over 700 views. And I had over 20 people reach out to me, people I've never met before, asking me, what are you using? What is your glow? One person even said, wipe the makeup off and then do your TikTok. And I'm like, I'm not wearing any makeup. This is it. That's just how amazing Luminovation is. But there was a couple of key points that you said, Payman. Don't be shy, just do it. And it's so much fun. Play around with it. So everyone, I cannot urge you enough. Play around with the app, post your own videos, and just have fun with it. I do want to say thank you so much. Before I pass it on to you, Patty, I just want to let everybody know we do have another session next week, Thursday at 12 Central Time, where Payman is really going to take a deep dive into the world of Instagram. So while we got the overall focus and what he can bring to the table today, next week is going to be all about the world of Instagram. So guys, download the app, really familiarize yourself with it, do the basics, and let him teach you the tips and tricks next week of how to maximize it and use it for your business. Thank you so much, Payman. Patty, do you want to say something, or should we just go straight to the Q&A?
No, we'll go back to the Q&A session. Absolutely. Go for it.
Right. So Mary asked, can you link the videos on different platforms?
Yes, you can. And my recommendation is, I'm a little biased, of course, because I work at TikTok, but I tell that my clients all the time, think TikTok first, because at TikTok, the algorithm always decides newly if your video is good enough to be played out to millions of people, right? So therefore, it's always a good sign if it works on TikTok, if it's already successful on TikTok. It will most probably will be working on other platforms as well. So my recommendation, yes, you can use videos, one video for all platforms. I personally would recommend to always think TikTok first, make a good TikTok video, and then share it on other platforms.
Perfect. Richard Anderson says, I have followers, over 6,000 followers, but no sales. Well, Richard, all I can tell you is welcome to our social media training. That's exactly the purpose of these social media trainings, is we're going to tell you how to maximize having all these followers and hopefully how to get sales out of that. All right. The main difference between Instagram and TikTok. A quick little short answer for that one.
Yes, so Instagram, as I said earlier, Instagram doesn't care about how many followers you have. You can have 20 million followers. Every video is still a new video for the algorithm. So if it's not a good video, you can have 20 million followers, but it will still be played to 10. Instagram is different, because if you have 10 million followers on Instagram, it most probably will be seen by a lot of people, because Instagram is connected to those followers. Therefore, we say TikTok is always a challenge, because you cannot rely on your past success, because every video has to be good. And that's the main difference between those two platforms.
Perfect. Maria and Whitney, thank you guys so much for answering all the questions in Spanish for us. And there was also a question about how many minutes a video can be. So I know they can be 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 90 seconds, up to, as they mentioned, 10 minutes. What is your suggestion on how much time they should make a video?
So it depends on how much interesting things they have to say. But I would recommend in the beginning, let's keep it light. So 15 to 30 seconds, that's kind of the recommendation in general I would share with you guys. But again, if you have something great to share and your story is a little longer, even up to 10 minutes, if those 10 minutes are worth to listen to, make it 10 minutes. It's completely up to the content that you have. But overall, I would say in the beginning, the shorter videos work a little better, because people they don't really know you. They don't maybe know that they don't at some point don't know the product. So to get familiar with those things, it is a little easier to have short videos. I would, but still recommend, if you have short or long videos, it doesn't really matter. Make sure that the first 3 seconds of that video are counting. Those 3 seconds have to be so good that people actually have a reason to watch the video until the end. And punchlines don't work on TikTok. If you have a video where you actually go to the punchline at the end, that doesn't work on the platform, because the competition that you have is a thumb of a person, and the thumb takes a second to actually scroll you away. So therefore, make sure that the first 1 to 3 seconds in your video, people know what this will be about. And if they do, they will probably decide to stay on longer.
All right. Now here, I should answer this one. How many hashtags? 100, 200? I really go crazy with hashtags. But how many hashtags do you recommend for a post?
So there's no rule here, but I would say in the beginning, you can use up to 20 hashtags or even more, but every hashtag has to be specific to your content. So if you have specific hashtags, you can use 3 or 30, but don't make it random hashtags just because you think they will get you more traction or more people to watch that, right? So therefore, my recommendation in the beginning, as I said, up to 15 or 13 seconds. In the beginning, I think it's a good amount of hashtags if you use up to 10, maybe 15 hashtags. If you don't have that many hashtags, that's completely fine too. But if you have good hashtags, specific hashtags related to your content, you can also work with 1 or 2.
Hashtag spritz yourself, guys. I'm giving you one for free. All right. I have Cherry Zoo is wondering, she speaks Chinese and English. Should she do her videos in both languages, one languages, subtitles? What do you recommend?
Not to confuse the algorithm, I would recommend to use one language and then another subtitle, recommending probably English and then Chinese subtitles. She can also switch it around. But if she every now and then posts Chinese content and then English content, I think the audience will be very divided, and therefore, yeah, sometimes the algorithm it will just not be successful on the platform because it's just too divided. Therefore, my recommendation is to do both languages in one video with subtitles.
I'll take a few more questions. Maria had an account with 22K followers, but unfortunately got banned. She has since created a newer account, but she doesn't have as many views like the old one. Do you recommend she keeps the new one, and what do you recommend her doing?
Yeah, so unfortunately, that's something that happens a lot on TikTok, specifically because it's a platform where also a lot of young people have access to. So there are sometimes very strict regulations. Nevertheless, if she already did that with 22K followers, there is something that she has that works on the platform. So she should not stop believing on her own talent. That's my first recommendation. So it will work eventually, but it will take a while because eventually it's a new account. There will be a lot of videos that she has to post in order to get the traction back. But don't lose the focus. Post very regularly. Do what you did before and have some patience.
2 more questions. And don't worry, guys, I have captured all the questions. So if they don't get answered today, I will definitely make sure they do get answered in our next few sessions. Suggestions on music and captions. I know we'll take a deeper dive into TikTok where you can go into that a little bit more into detail, but just a short answer for that one. Do you have any suggestions on music and captions?
Yeah. TikTok specifically is a sound on platform. So music always has to be, my recommendation is that music always has to be a part of the video, even if you only speak. Either you have a little background music or you kind of try to implement music into the video. And the easiest way to find good music is the library. So when you go on the library, the commercial library, you have plenty of songs, and they are categorized by viral songs and successful songs currently on the platform. So you don't really have to look for things. TikTok already suggests you the most successful songs and the most viral songs. Just pick one of them.
Perfect. And last question, tell us about TikTok Shop.
Yes, so the TikTok Shop is a great concept, but that's more a step 2 or 3 along on your way. Also, the TikTok Shop is mostly not for personalized accounts. It's more for corporate accounts. So the managed TikTok account can have a TikTok Shop, but then it is connected to a catalog, and this catalog is connected to your products, and it has to all be put in the system in order to basically have a full shopping experience on the platform, which is a great thing, by the way. But I would at the first start with the basics and have everybody up to speed. And then as a second or third step, go and start with the TikTok Shop, because it's also, there's a pixel and there's like events API. So there are some technical things included, which is fine. I can help you with all of that. Nevertheless, it's something that we probably, or Manytech should probably do at a later point.
Perfect. Thank you again so very much for answering all our questions. Guys, I promise you I have captured all the questions in the chat, and I will answer each and every single one of them at a future time. As I said, we are going to take a deeper dive into Instagram next week, and then following that, TikTok the week after that. So depending on what your questions are, I'll make sure they do get addressed in those 2 sessions. Payman, you blow me away every single time I talk to you. I learn something new every single time. So thank you for your time. Patty, I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you, Olga, and thank you, Payman. You can just see by the chat how excited everybody is about your training and kind of venturing out into TikTok and to Instagram. But I want to just do a quick shout out to Sam. Sam, thank you for taking the opportunity to do a video while you were on this call and you got some likes. That is amazing. Congratulations. That's all it takes. It's just the courage to get out there and post something and make it happen. So Sam, thanks for being on the call today and congratulations. Before we close this out, I want to introduce the Manytech CEO, Mr. Al Bala. He has been talking to us about social, mobile, global for the last 5 years. And so what is TikTok? What is Instagram? Social. And you can create a global business from it. And you can do it on your phone. So it just speaks to what Al has been sharing with us for the last 5 years. So I'm going to turn it over to Al so he can close it out. Hello,
Right.
Al.
Well, thank you. And Payman, fantastic, man. You are awesome. Can't wait for all the other things we're going to learn. I do want to know one thing. If I have a video with word, with, where I'm speaking, how do I add music to that?
We will get to that in the next couple of sessions. Don't worry.
All right,
But
great.
actually very easy, 2 clicks and done.
Then done. Okay, because I made the jump. So yesterday I literally put my first video in there. I've had a few things, but now I've taken my speeches and through the power of AI, it will split it and create these reels for me. This is awesome. Folks, in a history of our industry, never have we had so much ability to access so many people around the world, and that is a powerful, powerful new development for our industry. It's almost like social was made for us. If you know how to leverage that, we are a business of connection. This helps you create connection, but also do it in a way where you're adding value and making connection, which then comes back to you in terms of people obviously being interested in what you are doing and becoming down the road either a customer or a prospect. So social, mobile, global is real, and Payman, you're just going to help us to absolutely explode this, and I'm really, really excited about that. And Vida, thank you for obviously having the initiative to bring this on, and and obviously for you, Patty, to actually create this environment where everybody's going to learn these amazing skills. These are life skills, folks. It's great for your Manytech business. It's great for everything else that you do. And so I'm glad we're here. I'm glad, Payman, that you've taken the interest in helping us do this. I'm excited. I'll be in every one of the training, and keep an eye on my space because I'm going to be putting a lot of videos in there. All right. Back to you, Patty.
You're muted, Patty. We can't hear you.
Again, thank you, Payman, Vida, Al. Look for the next meeting and look for the recording this next week so you can catch up on what we've done this week and capture that for next week. So we hope to see you next week. Vida, anything else you want to share with the group?
That's it. Save the link. We'll see you guys next week to take a deep dive into Instagram.
Okie doke.
Thank you, Payman. All right. Thank you, Vida. Thank you, Patty.